Hello and welcome to this edition of What the Hell Just Happened, the vlog that completely rejects cliches, so put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm your host, Martin Ganipoler. Now, it's come to our attention that we may be neglecting a more, how shall I say this, cultural approach to our news analysis. So we decided to broaden our program this week to include some poetry. Come on, you know you can never hear too much poetry, right? With that, I am pleased to recite our new work that we humbly call The Downfall of Rudy G. There are strange things done by the politicians as they search for power and gold. These backroom heels have their secret deals that would make your blood run cold. The DC Knights have seen odd sights, but the oddest they ever did see was the pulling of the rug 'neath two Ukraine thugs and the downfall of Rudy G. Now, Rudy G from NYC was never considered a chump. He was a major player called America's mayor until he worked for Trump. He was always cold, but the land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. So he made his deal, though it did reveal that he'd someday pay in hell. On a fine spring day, he was on his way to the resort that was owned by his boss. He took cash from some mugs, those Ukrainian thugs, though their profit would soon be his loss. But it's always true that you'll get screwed when you don't value morality. And it won't be fun, though we're pretty much done with the likes of Rudy G. Don't misunderstand, I'm not taking a stand that our nation should be glad. Giuliani's a tool, and perhaps he's a fool, and for that we should all be quite sad. But he made the choice to use his voice to foment Don Trump's tyranny. And because of that vice, he will soon pay the price of the downfall of Rudy G. Thank you. You're very kind. Thank you. Next, we visit the Supreme Court of the United States. You know, that place where 9 people get to tell hundreds of millions of Americans what they can and can't do. And what the hell just happened there? This week, the court began deliberation on a case that could have long-term consequences for our friends in the LGBTQ community. This case concerns whether these individuals are covered by Title VII, a key provision in the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which bars discrimination in the workplace because of one's sex. The government is arguing that employers may fire LGBTQ people based solely on that criterion. The case involves 58-year-old Amy Stevens, who was fired from her job at a suburban Detroit funeral home after coming out as a trans woman to her employer. A funeral home. Oh, come on. Does the owner really believe that the clients would care about the birth gender of the person who cremates or embalms them? I don't think so. Nonetheless, during Tuesday's oral arguments, don't start with me now, conservative Justice Gorsuch brought up the potential for, quote, massive social upheaval that might result from this case being won by the plaintiffs. Really? You mean upheaval like we might all have to treat each other with respect and consideration? Oh my God, that would be intolerable. And Chief Justice Roberts remarked that he was concerned for the rights of religious employers. Of course, that was the same sentiment that kept people from hiring my parents and their siblings in the 1930s just because they were Jewish. Feh. At its heart, this case is about sexual discrimination. As such, it's been considered settled law since 1989. But right now, today, trans people suffer unemployment and homelessness at a highly disproportionate rate, about 30%. The decisions of the court in coming weeks will give a signal to the reactionary right wing that our laws either favor discrimination and bias or not. And not just against trans people. Because if firing folks due only to their sexual identity is what makes America great again, then we are all in trouble. Thanks for watching this week's vlog. We'll see you right here soon. Bye for now.